How's it going, everyone? This is Pastor and Mike. Although we're missing the mic today, we're trying to, again, another setup.
Technical issues.
Yeah. Ironically, the topic we were going to discuss this morning is preparation. And in our preparation, we failed. But that's always part of preparation is rehearsals and trying to figure out how to make it better. And so that's what we're doing week by week, and we're just rolling with it. So we hope you guys are rolling with it as well. But anyways, how was the lifting this morning?
It was very hard. We didn't get in at 4:30. It was probably about 4:45. By the time we actually warmed up, it was probably obviously after 5. But that's okay. Still trying to be disciplined on Saturday morning.
Yeah.
I actually got up I got up at 4:15. Like it was not. It felt good. It felt rested. We went to bed early. I was tired. So.
We are recording this on All Saints Day, November 1st. That is the day after All Hallows Eve, Halloween, or Reformation Day, depending on how you want to celebrate that. Yeah, pretty good time last night hanging out, taking our kids around trick-or-treating, doing the family thing, and yeah. So you brought up preparation as a talking point or discussion or preparing.
Yep.
And so what did you have in mind when you were thinking about that?
Yeah, I mean, there's a quote in my gym here. It says, confidence comes from preparation. And I like it because I just think it's applicable to literally anything in life. I mean, let me ask you, like in the military, how much did you prepare for things?
A ton, and it was always ongoing. I mean, there's.
Okay, let's back it up. Let's start from the beginning. Like I say, he was Green Beret. But to get to that point, to become a Green Beret, walk us through the preparation of how you get there. You enlist, how do you become a Green Beret?
Yeah. So for my path, it was it even started before enlisting. Like I made the decision that I wanted to do this, talked to a recruiter, but then I knew also like I was at a time I was teaching. I was employed as a teacher in public high school. So it's like I knew I wanted to finish that year and then enlist over the summer. And so even my preparation for going into the military started like December, January before. And,
like training wise?
Yeah. And I lost like 20 pounds to get ready for it. And then on enlistment, when I enlisted, the type of contract that I had is called an 18 X-ray contract, which is basically, it guarantees you a slot in Special Forces assessment and selection. So once you complete basic training, airborne, you get to go to selection, and you make it through selection, then you keep going.
For people that don't know, selection, but you just said a few things. Basic training, airborne. So how long is that stuff before you even get to selection?
So,
if we're talking preparation, right?
Yeah. So basic training was 17 weeks, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I mean it was.
How was that?
It was intense. Like it was
physically, mentally.
More mentally. It was physically. It was bad because you're coming out of nothing, and all of a sudden, they're putting you through the ringer. But I would say it was more mentally tough because it's such a change from normal civilian life. Like now, everything you are doing is, you're told what to do, it's monitored, it is, there's standard for it, it is, you have to meet all these things, which in civilian life, depending on like the type of job you have, it's kind of up to you, how much you want to push. But somebody is there constantly saying, here's what you need to know. And then the other side of that is they have to simulate that you're going to be in combat, that you're going to have to take care of people, you're going to have to execute a mission, you're going to
this is just a case.
Whatever. And so it's to throw all that at you and basically beat the civilian out of you, raise you up as at least a moldable soldier, and prepare you enough so that when you move on to the next phase of your career, whatever that is, you're ready to go do that.
Yeah.
You have the mentality of the soldier, the understanding of the rank structure, the proper respect and courtesy, and then the standards and discipline that they want you to carry on into your unit or into whatever else you do. So, yeah, that part is, I mean, there's a reason everybody goes into it. In fact, I mean, we call it basic training, but I think the technical name is like initial entry or something like that.
Yeah. What? But because the contract that you had, the X-ray contract, you knew while you were basic though, you knew that like next step was like you knew the process. Like okay, I'm going to go to selection. You're guaranteed the spot to go.
Correct.
Got it. So what's the okay? So you finished basic. So then what?
So
17 weeks.
Yep. Finish basic training and then go to airborne school, which is 3 weeks.
Yep.
And
jumping out of planes.
Right. More like there's not as much jumping. It's just kind of you go out the door.
Fall out of planes.
Yes, yeah. Fall out of planes gracefully, hopefully.
Yeah.
And yeah, so and it's I mean that's another sort of like preparation because now this is a specialized thing. So you know there's more stuff that you have to learn and how to land properly.
Yeah.
And what it, and they do a little bit of the. This is why we have this infiltration system, if you will, platform, I guess. You know, but it doesn't get into the real tactics of it. That's when you pick that up at your units later. So it's giving you.
How do you actually use this?
Correct.
Yeah.
So it's giving you the fundamentals of what how to listen to commands, get out of the airplane, land safely, get your chute, regroup together. But how it's going to be employed is going to be based on your unit.
How many jumps, I guess, on average, do you do before you do it by yourself?
Well, I mean, all the jumps are all by themselves. So this is static line, and so
so it pulls your pulls automatically.
You literally just walk out the door and the chute comes open.
Got it. Well, you're not camping with someone on your back type thing.
No.
Got it. Well, yeah, you probably gotta go hold it.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
So
that's intense.
Yeah, and
then you gotta like steer it by yourself. Well, like how's that work? You just figure that out.
You do your best to steer it. I mean, because this is the idea of airborne is you're simply
falling to the earth.
Correct. It's to get you behind, usually behind enemy lines, and to get you on the ground quickly, but also safely, so that you can actually be effective.
Right. Where you need to be.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's not I mean, all the landing and stuff. There are some things like that you do to control. You try to turn into the wind to make the impact not as bad. But it's basically whatever the jump master and whoever has designed the operation and says, here's our landing zone and here's where we need to release based on the wind. That they're the ones that are in control of like actually where you're going. You just hope that they made their calculations correct.
Got it.
So yeah.
Still intense.
Yeah, it is, and it was the first time out of the plane. I mean, you're just like, it's pretty. I mean, it's awesome.
Yeah.
But it's also like,
you're just falling out of the plane by yourself.
Yeah. The only thing that's keeping me from dying right now is this, thin piece of nylon or whatever it was made.
Fabric. Yeah.
And so you get through airborne, and the other thing that airborne does is it makes you, and this relates to kind of the faith side of things.
Yeah.
It makes you trust your equipment and your training.
Yeah.
Makes you trust your preparation. And even leading up in airborne, you are doing, you're not jumping, but you're doing all the kind of mechanics of, how do you exit the plane properly on a mock-up.
Yeah.
And then how do you actually land properly? There are pits. You get up and you swing on this thing and at a point it kind of gives way, and so now you have to brace for that impact. So your feet knees together, and you're trying to roll on the meaty parts of your bodies to
What do you guys do that on? Like what surface?
it's like there's
grass, like what do you?
No, well there are a couple that were grass, but this was like a kind of like really fine, smooth pebbles, and so yeah, it was and may have been sand. I can't remember exactly, but it was to give you there was just enough give in the ground, so it's like
it's a little cushion.
Yeah,
like concrete if you're falling on.
Right. So yeah, you practice those drills, and that prepared you for the actual event of descending from the plane and landing. Yeah, and it, like I said, it builds your confidence in the equipment, the training, and the preparation that you've been given by your instructors. And like once you actually do it, you go, oh,
yeah,
that's not as bad as I thought. That doesn't mean things can't go wrong, but you're like, I've done this once, well, I can do it again.
But I also think that's the point of the whole confidence and preparation is like, okay, you rinse and repeat it a million times, and then when the time comes when you're jumping out of the plane in the middle of the night and it's dark, you're not really worried about it because you're like, okay, we've done this. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
We've done this a million times. I know my equipment's got my back, so we're fine.
Right. And that's especially true at dark because that's often when you're utilizing that.
Yeah. You can't probably, I would assume you can't see anything.
Not really. Yeah. And I mean, it depends on the lighting of the moon and such, but yeah, generally speaking, if you're doing that type of static line infill at night, yeah, it's just your eyes, and then eventually when you get on the ground, you pull out your night vision and stuff. But,
is it a static line even when you're like jumping into country? Like, is it? It's not. You're not pulling your own chute.
No, so that's a different one. That's military free fall is the actual name for what we often refer to as Halo. So that's a different infill platform.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Which I have done.
You know, they're both jump out of planes, just different.
Correct. So static line, you jump out of the plane from anywhere from 850 feet up to like 1,500 feet. Depends on load and whatever. They have all that set up. Military free fall, Halo, you're jumping out of the plane at 12,000 feet or above.
Oh wow!
And so
that's high.
Yeah, and I mean, and I've done that as well.
Yeah.
I jumped out at 20,000 feet with oxygen, and those are again, it's a different type of system because the static line is they're trying to get a mass amount of troops onto the ground
quickly as possible,
safely as possible, so that they can go, do
everything. Yeah.
Right. Whereas Halo or military free fall, that's often a
small unit.
A small unit, and it's for like special reconnaissance, or if it's that's
why the plane's gonna be so high up, just to be
correct
out of detection and
correct. And what you end up doing in a lot of them is after you jump out of the plane, you're actually pulling your chute really quickly, and then you're
just gliding to where
you want to go. Interesting. So yeah, which there's I've done it was a 25 kilometer movement in the air from a Halo.
And you're really like cruising for 25 kilometers.
Yeah. I mean, like you're just sitting.
Like you're driving the chute basically.
Yeah, and those chutes have much more steerability.
Yeah.
And there's much more technique with.
You know where you're going.
You have a GPS, or a compass, and and you
don't drop it.
No, and you're tracking, and usually in those. So this is fast forward way down the line, but in that you jump out as your 8 to 12 man team. You already know, based on preparation. You've done this a lot of times with your guys, and so you know who's going to end up coming down a little faster, who's going to do whatever, and so you
know who's going to be where based on the amount of training and preparation, like who's going to do what.
Correct. And so
it's pretty intense as well.
yeah, and then you basically get in formation in the air, and you're going. And whoever, again, knowing who's going to be in order. Certain people are designated with like point man or whatever, and you have radios as well, so you're communicating and saying, hey, we look like we're a little off, or I can see this coming, but whatever. And so, yeah, and you're moving through the air for a long distance, long time, and then the objective is that you get to the designated spot and you all land within 50 meters of each other, so you just consolidate right there, and then you move out. So, yeah, but again, that almost amplifies the static line because you have to trust your equipment, and in most cases, not all of them, you end up packing your own chute, so you better know what you're doing.
Yeah, when you're packing the chute.
Yeah.
That's intense.
Yeah.
So, airborne. What happens after that?
So, yeah, you finish airborne, and then for me, because of the contract, we had a preparation course. So it was 4 weeks, and this was
before selection.
Before selection, yeah. And it was basically PTing, physical training, twice a day, and then in between, you're taking classes that are most of the things that you got in basic training, but like the next level, so that you get more exposure to it. And so, land navigation was a big one, but then things like knot tying and other kind of basic stuff that you're going to need for selection that you might not have gotten in basic training, or at least another iteration of it to prepare you for selection. So you go through that course, and then you are. So the way it worked out for me, I did that course that went all the way through to Christmas with Christmas break, came back, and then started selection.
That's cool.
January 14th or something like that.
Sucks.
Yeah, it was miserable.
And just to be clear for everyone, there's a difference between selection and the actual training to be a Green Beret. So selection is just. Can you explain selection? Yeah.
So selection, so it's special forces assessment and selection.
How many people typically at selection?
So there were 400-ish. I think it was 396 or something in
your class.
In my class.
What's the attrition rate typically?
I think we had 97 selected.
That's okay. Wow. And then can you explain? So selection is. Yeah,
so selection is kind of the first gate, if you will, into the Q course. And that's basically, you are put in a position where it's like, okay, are you going to be mentally tough enough to get through all this? Are you physically, you don't have to be the best, you just have to be capable to do that. And then probably the most important point of selection is, can you work with teammates? And this becomes a big, so the way selection was set up for me, the first week was almost all individual stuff. And there was, the part of that was to put so much stress on you. It's like, okay, can you keep going or not? And that was, you're completely on your own at that point. But then the second half of it is team lead, what we call it. And that's where you're put with, 12 other guys, 15 other guys, and people are put in charge, and you have to.
Like you rotated who's in charge?
Yep. And you have to accomplish these, again, very grueling tasks. And what they are measuring there is, one, if you're in charge, can you take charge? Can you lead? And also, if you are in charge and you're not as experienced, can you find the person that is and
work to
can you develop and go so that's something that's often overlooked, is like we just assume because they're the leader they know everything or they're supposed to, and it's like, no, it's not true. They need to be humble enough to say, hey,
I need some help here.
I need some help. Exactly.
Especially, I would assume in selection there are probably some guys that were priors, I would assume, versus like you go straight in, right?
Most of them, we were the X-rays. as they're called,
Yeah.
were the minority group.
Right.
There was like 30 of us.
Yeah, and everyone else was like they have been in the Army for a while, and now they're trying to go into special operations.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And yeah, so you're leaning on a lot of, and even guys that have been in a while, some of them are just, E4s,
Soldiers,
E5s,
yeah, they're not-
they're young guys. And so they haven't seen what some of these E6s, E7s have done.
Yeah.
And so, they're relying on them just as much. And yeah, the team lead, you're put in all these situations, so you're forced to lead, but then you're also forced to follow.
Yeah.
And
You can't be you got to be a good teammate. Like, even if you disagree with
correct.
whatever the leader's doing, like roger that.
Yeah. And there were a couple times where we were, somebody came up. So one of the events is like you have to move these water cans.
Yeah.
And they play it as like it's an actual scenario. It's like, hey, somebody is down and you need to get this, or your vehicles are down. You got to move this on foot. And we started out, and the plan that the guy came up with was just not good. And this was another thing they were evaluating. It's like once you start executing, you realize like this is not working.
You got to be able to adjust on the fly.
Right.
We shouldn't be doing this right now.
Right.
How do we change?
And that was actually, a really good point for him was to say, okay, I thought this would be a good idea. What do we have another suggestion? Like, how should we do this? And we ended up
it's clearly not working. Yeah.
Right, and we ended up changing a lot of the way we were carrying it, like the rotation of who was carrying what.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it was like it wasn't easier, but it was more efficient.
Right. Right. Do you think too these tasks that they give you? Do you think that they know, like in the standards that they put them in, they know you're probably not going to succeed, but they just want to see how you guys operate as a team? They know like there's a very, given the task, the condition, and the standard, they're like, you're probably not going to accomplish it, but they don't really care if you accomplish it. It's more like, how do you operate as a team? How do you work under stress? Like if you complete it, it's not that big of a deal, or is it like, no, you do need to complete it in this time frame?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, the expectation was always that you would complete it.
Okay.
Like this is possible.
Got it. Okay. It's not impossible. That's my question. They're not giving you a possible task just to see how you do.
No. I mean, but it is
Close to
like
impossible.
it's meant to break you down.
Yeah.
Like you're moving 60-pound sandbags, like you're holding them.
Yeah.
And you've got to, move 3 kilometers with them.
Yeah.
And it's, I mean, it sucks, but it's like, it is doable. And it's like, and that's the question is, are you going to give up? Are you going to give up on your team, or are you going to give up on yourself while you're doing it? Right. But yeah, I mean, the expectation was always we would finish it. And I think that's part of the leadership is, no guys, we can do this.
Mm-hmm.
Let's keep going.
Right.
And I mean, there was one that was, we had to you had to move a downed or a broken down Jeep, and it was missing a wheel. So you had to figure out how to get it up on and then keep it moving, and you had to work a rotation with it. And like, I mean, it seems impossible, but then all of a sudden, like you start getting moving, and you're like, okay, maybe it's not. And now the time hacks, they make it difficult on you. But what ends up happening with that is, if you don't make that time hack, you're just cutting down any recovery time that you have for the next one.
So you will go until you were done.
Right.
God, they're not like, it's not like a work where we time cap, like, okay, you're done, like you can rest. It's like, you will finish it, it's just going to take you longer.
Right. And then all of a sudden, that 2-hour refit time that you had in between events, well, now it's only 15 minutes.
Right.
And so, you can't, you're going to have to prioritize, like, do I change my socks to treat the blisters that I've got on?
No food.
Well, I mean, and that's stuff you have to figure out.
Yeah,
and again,
what's more important right now.
And again, that could be on the leadership of saying, hey, all right, we only got 15 minutes before we get out. Everybody needs to get water
Yeah.
and needs to eat food. That's it.
That's a
Like,
good point. Like, don't think about anything else. Just do
right,
this.
to do those things. And
That's a good point.
I guess.
Yep, they're back. Yeah.
But, well, preparation. So I mean, that all gets into like what we do in the military, because once we can keep going about that.
Yeah, there's a lot more training
There's
to
a lot
it.
more training.
Yeah, like
Maybe
months. Yeah, we could talk about this for like hours. If I wanted to paint the picture of preparation,
Yeah.
it's a long process to get you from A to B
Right.
to where you were.
Yeah. And then even once you get to wherever you are, especially like when you're on a team and you're getting ready to deploy, you are doing things over and over and over again so that you are prepared for.
That's a good point. Okay, so let's say you guys you get word from leadership, hey, we're gonna go do this mission tomorrow night, whatever, in a week, whatever. How much preparation would you do for that mission? Or I guess, would it be more before you actually left to deploy? Like, would you do a workup beforehand? How would that work?
Yeah, you would do a workup beforehand.
Before you deployed here,
right.
Stateside, got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then your training stateside is always in anticipation of
like what we're gonna go do.
Right.
Got it.
And so.
And that's like, how long is a workup typically?
But, I mean, it depends. So like our Halo workups
Yeah.
were a month. But
every day, well,
I mean,
this weekend.
Yeah. And then, depending on like, I mean, this is also part of the responsibility of leadership and like the team sergeant and such. He's coming up with a plan for, okay, we need to accomplish these things. We need to get qualified on these weapons. We need to get trained up on these vehicles and these comms systems. We need to go through medical lanes, which was stuff I was responsible for.
Yeah.
We need to hit all these things.
Yeah.
And so I mean, the overall picture, we need to brush up on our languages as well.
Yeah.
So all of that could be, I mean, 6 months.
Yeah.
But it's where it's pieced out, and then guys are also going to schools to improve their skills on other things that
But to that point, then when you get a country and you're in a combat scenario, I mean, your confidence level is probably very high. You're like, well, I mean, it's still different because it's actually you're engaging the enemy, right? But I mean, you've done it over and over and over, right? So it's like, okay, we at least know what we need to do.
Yeah.
Or at least we know how to, if we need to change, we know what we need to do.
Right. And because that's really, and this is applicable both combat side, but then like specifically to me as a medic. You get trained as a medic on all these different tasks, different scenarios, and you run through them all and you do them over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And yet it's always done with the understanding that these are the fundamental skills that you need. How that's going to actually apply is going to be based completely on the situation.
You don't know you have no idea what that's going to be.
Right. And so, but you have to have all those tools in your tool bag, and you have to be able to analyze the situation and go, okay, this, he has a gunshot wound, but I mean, he's not bleeding out, put a pressure dressing on that. Whereas this guy, he's
actually like an arterial bleed or some, whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
And so this is going to take a lot more.
Yeah.
And so you're always assessing that. But the only way you can get to that point is preparing for those situations.
Right. Also, not just those situations, but also the fact of like, to what you just said, it's not just like, okay, this guy is this situation, knowing how to address each of them, but also in the sense of the stress level, like there could also still be people engaging the enemy. There could be bullets flying, right? So knowing that, but also with the stress of everything else going on, right?
Yeah.
Which at the same time still just goes back to the training and the preparation.
Correct. Yeah, and that's often why you actually overload in the training.
Yeah.
So you're going to say it's a shoot house thing where you're going in and you're actually the training is to go and clear a structure, whatever, and like in that you have these they call them now injects, but like situations that are thrown in right in the middle of it, where it's like, in reality, would something like this happen? Well, it's possible, but not likely. But you throw it in that situation so that now the stress from you have this one objective of clearing the house. Well, now all of a sudden we found an IED in there, and we've got to react to that. Or now we found civilians that were being held. How do we, now we have to escort
innocent civilians,
right, and that's because if we kill them, and war crimes, or you have a, and this is really where it gets tricky. So let's say it's civilians that need medical attention, like they've been wounded in, if we breached somewhere and somehow something exploded, whatever, and wounded one of them. Now, I've got to treat them, but then it's also like, well, there's still bad guys out there. So, So they in the training kind of throw all of these things at there, so that when it actually happens in real life, it's like, okay, I have at least seen something similar to this, and we can adapt. And then, with the as we were talking about this earlier, preparation is not only knowing what you're going to go into, but then also the contingencies. But then, really, it sounds weird, but preparation is also the evaluation of it afterwards.
Yeah, and I really like. Well, this is why I wanted to bring up the military thing too in terms of preparation, because I think it's very applicable when you think about it to like every aspect of life in terms of how you should prepare really for anything to be successful at whatever it means. And success, of course, doesn't just mean money. It could be successful in your marriage, in your faith, in fitness, whatever, right? But like I was listening to an interview. I think it was Rob O'Neill, which is one of the operators who was on 76. He's actually the guy that shot the bomb in Book Better. Anyway, he was talking about how they were prepping for that mission, and they were going through all the contingency plans, blah, 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 and they were like, okay, what's the worst thing that can happen? And one guy was like, well, a helicopter could crash in the front, you know what I mean? And then everyone was like, that's insane. And then they prep for it, and then it actually happened. So the point is like, if you plan for the worst and then kind of work your way back, and you know what I mean? And then when you get in the situation, okay, we're good, let's do this, you know what I mean? But it's with anything in work. I mean, like I was telling you about this week with my work, I was just trying to prep for different meetings, making sure I was dialed in, and they went great. And then you walk into those situations and you plan for like what could happen, and it does happen, and then you're like, oh, thank goodness I was prepping because I have all these in my head, you know what I mean? I'm ready for it, right? And I think it's the same thing, just it all leads back though to truly, at least for me, to faith. We were talking about this morning. You can prepare all you want, and at the end of the day, you should prepare and to be as prepared as possible. But there are things that are out of your control.
Yes.
So there's a difference. It's good to prepare to have confidence, but there's a difference between you don't want to worry.
Yes. So
that makes sense.
Yeah, and that's what that preparation does.
It eliminates, I guess.
And it does.
Yeah.
And so, because this relates back to what we were discussing last week with fear.
Yeah.
Is when you have actually assessed those things and gone, okay, it puts a control on it, a boundary on it, sort of. And so while you can still have fears that come up, it's not this. Okay, it's not this. It's not so surprising that it throws you off of what you need to do. And this definitely, I think, applies extremely to the faith, because when and I don't remember if I mentioned it in our previous podcast or not, but I think of catechesis. It's something we take seriously as Christians. Is the best synonym for that in the church is training. Because that's what you are doing from a young age all the way even through adulthood. You are training people for the life as a Christian. So you are always catechizing them, teaching them, and again, teaching them the fundamentals so that when a situation arises, they know how to apply those things and make choices, or make decisions that are God-pleasing and that are wise and that are beneficial in the Christian life. And that is even our divine service. And I know a lot of people might not see it this way, but that is actually training, because we are inserting ourselves into this rhythm and saying, okay, this is how God has shown us that we should worship Him, and more importantly, this is also ultimately pointing to the final day, the thing we all have to be prepared for, our death or Christ's return.
Yeah.
Because whichever one of those happens first, that's the final day for us.
Yeah.
And so the divine service is actually pointing you forward to that final day where you will get to see the Lord face to face. And so it's training you in that moment on Sunday morning to, first of all, fix your eyes on that throughout the week, but then second of all, to realize, okay, no matter what happens out here, my ultimate confidence is Christ is going to bring me to Himself. And so if I go through the week and it's absolutely terrible, Christ still has me. If I go through the week and it's absolutely great, Christ still has me.
Yeah.
If I don't make it through the week, if I die, Christ still has me.
It's funny you say that, because I was thinking about, we did a Bible study last Saturday and that song. And when you told me the meaning of that song, When Peace Like a River, it's like very applicable. Like very good things, very horrible things, like his family died. Doesn't matter, right? And it's kind of like the mindset I put into this week, like no matter the outcome, like God has a plan, God's in control, like, and we have confidence in that. But I also think, off the tangent, to fitness too, like I think when you, like what we did this morning was very hard. I mean, typically what we do is pretty hard. I think when you push yourself in this element and you realize you can do hard things, you obviously have confidence. You just feel confidence internally within yourself. But I think that translates to everything. I personally think it translates to everything else, like within your work, within your marriage, within your life. Like, hey, I can do hard things here. Why can't I do hard things here?
Yeah.
And of course you can.
Yeah.
And then when you have hard things pop up in life, you're like, well, man, nothing was harder than what I did this morning or whatever. Like, I can do this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, especially with fitness, because it drives you physically, you're going to feel pain.
Yeah.
Like it is.
Yeah. Very much so.
You know, trying to get your body to, it's just do it one more time.
Yeah.
Just get up.
Right.
And you're like, this absolutely, it's terrible.
Yeah.
And so you have that physical part, but then you have the mental part of, okay, I just need to keep going.
Yeah.
And then, but then there's also, so and that's kind of one realm of it, because there's also the, like, for example, if you're maxing, like you don't get to max unless you're building up to it. But then once you like go, oh, wait a second, you know, I did 185 and that felt pretty good.
Yeah.
And that's more than what I expected. Maybe I can bump up
Just more. Let's do more.
200.
Exactly.
And so, yeah, you know, that builds with it as well. But both of those, you know, the putting yourself into that tough position, it sensitizes you to, okay, there are going to be tough positions in life.
Yeah.
And yet, as much as this hurts physically and as draining as this is mentally, I'm gonna keep taking that step forward. Now, where I would say the counter to that is, or not the counter, but the corollary to that, when it comes to faith, you have to realize that God is sometimes breaking you down to the point where you do give up, and so that He can come in and raise you.
You will hit a rock bottom.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been there. I'm curious your thought to the point of like the fitness part of it. We talked about David Goggins a few times. I mean, he's intense. But there was one interview he was talking about, because he runs like whatever 200 miles, whatever races, right? 15, 20 miles a day, and someone was asking about running. He's like, I hate to run.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's like, but his analogy was, he's like, I hate to run. He's like, but that's why I do it.
Yeah.
He's like, but I also do it because I put myself in such a mentally hard place. He's like, so when I get a call at 2 a.m. that my mom is dead, he's like, as dark as that sounds, he's like, the point is, I don't just fall into depression or fall into sadness.
Yeah.
He's like, I just put myself in hard places all the time, so that way when these hard things in life come, it's like, it's okay.
Yeah.
You know? And actually, he's a pretty faithful guy. He doesn't really talk about it much. I've heard a couple of interviews. He's like, of course I am. But like, he's like, how would I possibly get through this? Why do I be so intense without faith? But it's kind of funny. Because it all correlates together. But there's something to be said for, just like you said, putting yourself in a hard mental state every day, and then other things in life just won't be.
Yeah. Well, and it is, well, it's not that they won't be hard, but it's that you're going to persevere through
You
them.
know that you can persevere through them.
Right. And when we think about what it means to be a disciple, what is kind of Jesus's biggest description to his disciples is you have to deny yourself, pick up your cross, and follow me. None of that is easy. It's just like but that's the commitment that it is. Ultimately the payoff is not that you are already given the forgiveness of sins and the promise of everlasting life in Christ. That's yours. Now the question is, with that confidence in that these are true for me, are you going to go out and live the life that He's called you to take up that cross and follow Him? And that's, that is doing up the hard things of remaining faithful in your marriage, remaining faithful to Christ, but remaining faithful in your marriage, remaining faithful to your children, doing your job well, facing the situations in life that are tough, death, sickness, poverty, those things. This is what it means to follow Christ, is to go, okay, Lord, you've called me into this, you're with me, and I'm just going to keep putting one step in front of the other.
And to know, like, as humans, we will always fail at those because we're sinners, but as long as we obviously live in repentance and turn to Him every day and live in repentance, and we will fall because we're sinners, we're human. But like you said, pick up your cross every day and just know we're sinners, but know we're forgiven because of the cross. Right.
Yeah. And that's even when we pray in the Lord's Prayer, give us this day our daily bread. We're not looking forward to tomorrow in the sense of, and Jesus isn't saying, don't have plans and things for tomorrow. Obviously, he's always pointing us forward to life eternal, which is later. But it's also, you can't depend on those things. Or you can't assume that those things are going to happen. You live in the moment, live this day, and live knowing that I'm sufficient for you, that I am your daily bread.
That actually goes back to the verse that I brought up this morning. I got to read it. Unless you have it memorized, Matthew 6, 20.
Seek first the kingdom of God, or
I'm
righteousness.
I'm gonna read it here. If I can find it. My friend sent this to me the other day because I was worried. It says, but seek first His kingdom and His righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. There's a lot more, like 25, therefore I tell you, do not worry about your life, what you eat or drink, about your body, what you will wear. Is not life more than food, and body more than clothes? And then it goes on and on, right? But the point is, it kind of ties in what you were saying, right? There is no reason to worry about tomorrow because, again, it also goes back into have confidence with your preparation of what you need to get done tomorrow because, yes, God will take care of us, but there's also it doesn't mean okay, you still have to do what you need to do, as a human, right? You have the responsibility. So have confidence, prepare, have confidence in the preparation of, okay, tomorrow is going to be fine because I did what I needed to do. But at the end of the day, the outcome of it, God's in control.
Correct. And then,
there's no need to worry about it.
And there's this, and this is the hardest, one of the most difficult things that we have to do as Christians is to simply trust that God is in control, and that whatever news is brought through the day, okay, God, you're still with me. You're caring for me. That's what Jesus is saying is our minds should not be on the things that are. Our minds first should not be on the things of this world and what's going to fade away, but first on His kingdom and His righteousness, and then everything else gets added unto that.
Mm-hmm.
And so and again, this is the struggle, because it's very easy just to go, okay, well, you talked about sinning is forgetting about God. Like when you're sinning,
when we're sinning, we're just not thinking of God.
Right. That's the same thing of when I'm not seeking first His righteousness, trusting His mercy, His grace.
Then clearly, you go the other way.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's where the model of repentance comes in, the change of mind. Wait a second. No, I need to turn back here.
Right.
And that's Jesus rebukes Peter. Your mind is set on things of this earth and not of the things of my Father. And that's that's the daily struggle. That's the cross, is saying, yes, Lord, I trust you. And it might be difficult, but I know you're with me, and in the end, it's going to be worth it. Because you have promised it. You've shown it by your own death and resurrection.
Well, we're a long time, but we could talk about preparation for many more. I feel like podcasts. We got to get into more of his military career. We got to ask about special operations that are secretive. You can let us know about. I don't know if that's legal or not. No, people write books all the time about missions. Is that a thing? Is that frowned upon? What do you think? I guess there's certain books that are different than others. It probably depends. I'm assuming they got to get it approved by the Pentagon or something.
Yeah.
I'm sure they can't just write it.
Yeah. I mean, there's always a.
I guess the team, well, not team guys, but do special operators. You guys look. Someone leaves the community, goes and writes a book. Tim Kennedy type guy. Do you? Is that a frowned upon thing? Do you guys not care? How's it?
I mean, I really think it depends on the book and
the person and
because there are things.
I kind of like Tim Kennedy. So they know.
I mean, the book.
The answer to the question.
This is the question.
Look up Tim Kennedy.
Is do
UFC fighter.
Yeah, no, I'm not taking anything away from.
We should do jiu-jitsu.
Well, yeah, that's another. We do weightlifting, but that's another thing that pushes you mentally and physically.
Yeah, there's a difference between being strong and then knowing how to use your strength.
Right, and then being in a position of okay, can I somehow fight out of literally this scenario and reverse it? And so,
just because you're strong doesn't mean
right. And,
you don't know what anyone's capable of.
Right, and I we did jiu-jitsu in the military, but jiu-jitsu and wrestling, folk style wrestling, they're so wonderful because it is physically taxing.
We have a wrestling coach. He needs it. Okay, we're gonna do this.
And
a member of the church is a wrestling coach, so we're gonna do this.
So it's so physically taxing, but it's also it is a chess game because you are trying to anticipate what your opponent's doing, and then what you're going to do, and probably what they're going to do in response to that, and So
anyway,
But to the
people that
leave and write books, are you promoting yourself, or are you promoting something to
the mission?
Or are you promoting the benefit of other people? Here's a lesson that I have learned that I'm passing on to you so that you don't make this next.
Which I feel like most of the books are like that. I don't feel like I really read the book that's more about just them. Because even I think the most, I could be wrong here, the most frowned upon one that I've heard was Rob O'Neill, SEAL Team 6 guy that shot Bin Laden, and the book is called The Operator. And so it's I can't remember what. But anyway. But in the book and listening to his interviews and everything like that, all he does is talk about the team. He's I'm not special by any means. I was only in that situation because of these guys and blah blah blah. The guys happened to be there right in front of him, and So I feel like all those books are I could be wrong. It seems like all the guys talk about the team. It's never about themselves, I think.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, it varies. I mean, there's some good ones, and there's some ones that are like, you know, a lot of guys also get out and they write just to vent, and that's, I mean, I get it. It's cathartic, but it's also like,
I do but like Jocko's is like, hey, basically, as a military, whatever his title was, SEAL commander of the captain, whatever, I learned these lessons, and these are the lessons I learned, and how can you apply these? I think that was actually pretty cool, because it's like,
no, and I do think that
it's like cognitive leadership, right?
Yeah.
This clinical freedom, like,
yeah, and I mean, there are
and just use examples from, right?
yeah, and there are some exceptional works. And I haven't read the whole thing. I read excerpts, but Nick Rhodes, 5 Years to Freedom, and it's kind of his journal diary of his experience in the POW camp in Vietnam.
Wow, that's fantastic.
And yeah, and so you again, and now in that regard, there's much more of a human interest side of like, what was it like? And so here it is, he's putting that forth. Another, and this was just an article and it's actually the reason I found out about it was from Jocko's podcast.
Yeah.
He read Field Marshal Montgomery, who was World War II British, basically supreme commander, and he talked about morale and how that is the key component to the success of a mission or the success of a unit. And it was fantastic because he's looking at it, he's standing back and assessing from his position, offering his expertise and saying, here's what we need to be doing as a military, and you can take from that and go, yes, that's a good lesson, or yeah, you know, that worked then, but it doesn't work now.
Yeah.
And so those things are helpful too.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's the same with the same reason we read not only the Bible, but we read other authors in the church because there's something to offer.
Yeah.
Now, some of them, they get, you know, you read it and you go, this is just way off, and so you say, this is what not to do.
Right.
But then there are others where it's like, this is fantastic, this is so helpful.
Yeah.
You know, C.S. Lewis comes to mind in that regard. But
anyway, we're ready to pass around a book about the military and see how the community accepts it. But this has been fun. We'll get a good topic for next time.
Yeah. And hopefully the audio is good.
We're working on microphones.
Yeah. So
we have some. We just had
we were unsuccessful.
some technical difficulties with them, so we're getting there. One step at a time.
Yeah. All right. You guys have a good week. Blessed All Saints Day to you. And remember, Christ is King. He's going to return soon. And put your confidence in Him.
Right to that.